Travis, pretty wild weekend, I would say the least for you guys. But after everything that happened, you guys go and take care of business on the court. I don't know. You obviously didn't have many words to describe what happened Thursday, but what can you describe about how it ended for you the whole weekend?
Well, you know, I don't know about these two, but personally for me, I think the couple hours on the court those 2 days were the easiest 2 hours we had, because it just felt normal, and you know, and it was out there doing what we all love to do. So those were the easy hours of the day, in my opinion.
Was it difficult at all, just, and this could be for either one of you too as well, just either leading up to the game or just preparing for it, just to maybe try to, for that to be a distraction, just because of, you know, because it was so fresh and just so unexpected, I guess?
Well, you know, it was something that I decided from the beginning. There was no reason to. First of all, I realized early on there's no manual that tells you how to deal with something like what we dealt with this weekend. But you know, I realized early on that we weren't going to try to sweep it under the rug and just deal with it as it came. And you know, and I was very upfront with them on Friday before we played, and just asked, you know, how everybody was feeling, and physically, I think everybody was in pretty good shape, but you know, they were very upfront in saying, you know, we're pretty spent mentally and emotionally, and so that's how we went into this thing, and we knew that. But you know, we also try to focus on the fact that we all feel like we were given a gift to be able to get through that like we did, and that we should go out and try to celebrate that gift, and you know, in a way that they all love to do, which is play this game.
We have we have so many rituals just like leading up to the game, like pregame meal and everything, that it was kind of easy just to like get back into what we were doing and just like be around each other and just, I don't know, just eat pregame meal and do all our silly things before. So it was easy to take our mind off of it once we were there. Volleyball helps a lot.
I definitely think it was kind of like easing us through this situation, because that's, at that point, that's like what we were looking for, is kind of like the normalcy of our road trips, just the regular basis, what we kind of do, and it was kind of just good for us to get back into what we normally do and make everything normal, because it definitely wasn't, it was definitely out of the ordinary what we experienced, and it was nice to get the games, the pregame meal, just all the rituals that we do to kind of bring us back to what our goal was for the weekend, and that was the games that we were playing.
Is it still something that you guys are dealing with? I think I would imagine at this point, just the whole situation.
Yeah, I think as the weekend went on, we were kind of getting over it, but now being back on campus, just seeing people that we haven't talked to all weekend, and the questions just coming up with anybody that you see, it's kind of getting a little harder.
Emily, same to you. Was it tough to get back on the bus and go home, I guess, at that point? After you guys had to do that, you had to get back home. So.
I feel like everybody kind of, I don't know, just like kind of changed. Like no one was really sleeping in the bunks anymore. Like I felt like maybe it brought us closer together. Like everybody felt like everybody was towards the front of the bus, or like there was a group of people towards the back. Like no one was sleeping, and it was just kind of like everybody was just kind of comforting each other and just, I don't know, just hanging out, watching. It was different getting back, but we made it fine.
Travis, how do you guys deal with this from going forward?
You know, minute by minute and hour by hour, and just, you know, trying to figure out what is in the best interest of these kids with every decision that we make. And you know, I was able to, over the weekend, I was able to shield them from a lot of what was going on, and you know, we were just our group kind of moving around doing what we did, and they were able to focus a lot on playing matches. And I anticipated today being difficult for them, and in the next few days being difficult for them, because they are back in our community, and when you get back to our community, I think you really understand the scope of what kind of story this is, and so, you know, I think it's something that's going to take a little while for us to work through, and you know, we just have to approach it like we've approached everything else, and that's, you know, looking out for each other and taking care of each other, and you know, we'll do that day by day.
Obviously, it was tough for girls to get back out there and play. Or you said it actually was a distraction. What was it like for you to get back out there and do your job after having to deal with everything that you dealt with?
To be honest, I think they did a whole lot better job than I did. They were fantastic. This whole community should be very, very proud of this group of kids, and because they really, when it was time to play, they were there. They were present, and they gave everything they had for the jersey that they wear. And you know, I don't know if the fact that I dealt with it more in terms of media and things like that, and maybe dealt with it more as a father in terms of understanding, you know, the bliss of being an ignorant youth sometimes, huh? That you don't always understand the scope of what went on, but having children of my own and considering these kids children of my own, I think it's been difficult. And like I said, I'm awfully glad they went out and played well, because I'm not so sure I had a whole lot of answers for them on the bench.
You know, on the competitive side of it, obviously you guys rebounded well against South Alabama, and then coming out with the same weekend with another win. What does it say about just, you know, and you guys said it was a good distraction, but to still come out and win the way you guys did and continue to and bounce back after the loss against Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, you know, the one thing I really have my fingers crossed moving forward from this, because this is going to be what it is over the next few weeks as our kids deal with it. But you know, we very much feel like that that we can play with Middle Tennessee, and we're very, very disappointed in the effort that we put out on Wednesday. And as I told them coming out of that match Wednesday, the only way that one's going to be important back here on senior night with the conference championship on the line is if we take care of business between now and then. And that's going to be our challenge. And with all that these kids are dealing with, I think that challenge becomes a little greater. But it's still, you know, these kids have had an unbelievable year for us to be sitting here at 17-5. And, you know, this has been such an experience to go through, and I just really don't want to let it take anything more from these kids. And so I'm hoping that we can get our minds right and move forward with this thing and make that last match we play against them a meaningful one.
Any other questions?